Yes, gang, it's right. That's right. It's Poppy's other workshop. Hey, gang, Poppy here. This is a media critique commentary, whichever you want to look at it as being. It's the first, hopefully, of many. Then, on the other hand, hopefully, not so many. Anyway, last night I watched some TV. Yeah, I know, scary thought. I was watching Joker. It was on TNT. The movie stars Joaquin Phoenix. You know, the guy who took Nicolas Cage on a trip through Wonder How They Do It Land in 8mm. Played Johnny Cash. Okay? Now, he did magnificently as Johnny Cash. Much, much better than I thought he would, just from hearing Joaquin Phoenix, Johnny Cash. Much better. Anyway, Joker. Joker is a total piece of shit. If they had left out two words, Gotham and Wayne, you know, Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne, if they left out those two words and let it be what it deserved to be, a standalone movie about a psychopath who works as a clown and devolves into violence, it would have been an extremely good movie. It, in my opinion, would have been up there with Taxi Driver. If you look at the two of them, you see when Travis is alone and what's his name? Arthur are alone at home, the mental gymnastics and stuff they go through, you know, in their transition from semi-normal to totally whacked out. Character development of a high order. I mean, it's just a guy who works as a clown and starts out a little nuts and goes totally off. Would have been an excellent movie. But for some reason, and my guess it is because everyone in Hollywood is using drugs. Don't think they aren't. They're all drinking, smoking, shooting, rubbing it into their belly button, suppositories, some substance, or many substances in some cases. I think there was a script about this guy named Arthur who works as a clown, goes off, kills some people, starts a minor movement amongst people. Perfectly good movie. But they had to throw in two words, Gotham and Wayne. Now there, they screwed up by using those two words because the story wasn't a Batman story. I don't mean just the fact that there's no Batman in it. I mean, it's not a Batman story. The little bit of nuttiness of Jack Napier is the crossover. Now, I mentioned Taxi Driver. Okay, the mental stuff that Arthur went through, at home. Uh, there were two other movies. I can't remember them now. Last night I could point it right at and say, this one, he got this out of that. I mean, it was a derivative script. They used a hunk of Taxi Driver, a hunk of this, a hunk of that, cobbled them together. And I'm wondering whose used underpants the writer was smoking when he wrote this script. Then, when they got to the studios, producers, directors, Robert A. Heinlein, in one of his books, talked about an editor who was like the wine dealer who wasn't happy with the flavor of the wine until he urinated in it. That's what directors and producers, studio executives all do. They have to fuck it off for their vision. These guys got googly eyes from all the drugs they're using. They started out, they're all nuts. They all have some mental aberration, or they wouldn't be in Hollywood. And compounded by the fact that they're not good enough to be in front of the camera. So that really messes with your mind. I'm not good enough to act. All I can do is produce. Now, as for Joaquin Phoenix, he was magnificent with what he was given. All right? He did a magnificent job of the character development of this guy degenerating into total nuts from halfway nuts. But 2 words: Gotham and Wayne. They screwed up the whole production. If you watch this movie, I don't know if I can recommend it. If you like Batman, I mean, even the Heath Ledger was a better Batman movie than Joker. Now, I personally think that Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson did it absolutely perfectly. Some people say, well, Jack, he stole the movie. Well, at the start, he's the antagonist. It's all about what he's doing. And the subplot is Bruce, who remembers this guy who shot mom and dad. And yeah, that's him. And he figures out what's wrong and saves Gotham. Many will agree with me that Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson did the definitive Batman movie. And the next one that Michael Keaton made was okay. But by the time it was George Clooney and what's his name, the other guy in that franchise that had played Batman, he was in Top Gun, one of the Top Gun twinks. Anyway, it degenerated to shit. Joker started out that shit and rapidly got worse. This has been a comment on the movie Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix and why Yeah, not all that good a movie. Good night from California.